Folks, again, if you want to mold and cast your 3D print, then please make a checker. Make it 50 by 50 and keep it no higher than 10 millimeters. It should consist of the checker itself and a plate below it. The plate is 50. The checker inside could be like 45. You can play with those dimensions a little bit. But at least make it 3 millimeters between the distance, the outer diameter of this checker and the inner, or the plate, and then the checker. We're going to do this if you would like to cast and mold it. If, however, you just want to print a 3D print and it's not checker or flat, but it's elaborate, but you would like to just print that, go ahead. It needs to be about no more than 64,000 cubic millimeters. Think of it this way: 80 millimeters by 80 millimeters by 10 would be 64,000. Yeah, that's right. It would be, but it's just as fine to go 20 by 80 by 40 would do the same thing. Okay? We want to keep it to a 2-hour print, folks. If we have another 3D printer coming, we have 6. The other one is on its way here, but it's not coming in until tomorrow or Wednesday. The minute that one's up, I'll be able to start printing them so people can see them. People in Charlotte, please bring something tomorrow that you would like to print. We'll start getting them printed. Share them on Edmodo, and we'll start hitting it when you get in there. Okay? Try to put them up there tonight on Edmodo, and when you do, put your name in the class you're in. So this is my checker: Final Panther Checker, Tom. So use your first name. Charlotte Middle School. So if you were in Raleigh and your name was Bob, it could be Final Panther Check Bob Raleigh High School. That way different people can bring up the checkers and we make sure we're printing the right things. Okay? All right. Any questions about that? Okay, let's go on. I'm going to be checking from time to time on an upload I've got going here. Bear with me 1 second, and then we'll go into, let me see, my next lesson, Code Combat. All right, great. Okay, we're still processing. I swear sometimes that takes forever. Okay, let's do what we're going to do next. We're going to talk about JavaScript, and we're going to learn some JavaScript using something called Code Combat. And that's what we're going to do today. All right? Now, let's talk first about what JavaScript is. JavaScript is a scripting language used in browsers such as Chrome and Firefox. JavaScript and Java are not related. Don't assume, like I did one time, that JavaScript and Java are related. Java is much more like what we did with Arduino sketches and C. JavaScript is simply for HTML browsers and really works best with Chrome and Firefox. You got to get Safari to agree to play with Java and everything. Many of the online games, though, can be written in JavaScript, so you can do some powerful things with it. All right? We'll learn about JavaScript by playing Code Combat, where you type the line of code to move your characters, fight monsters, collect treasures. Code Combat is free and runs well on Chrome and Firefox. I love that Java. Nice. All right. Okay, so what I would like you to do is to go to Code Combat online. I'm going to see if I can pull it up here for me as well. Here it is. All right, go ahead. I've already got an account. It should be right here. Let's make sure I've got it. Yep, YOT, that's me. And we're going to get ready to play it. Raise your hand once you've gone to, be in Google Chrome, go to CodedCombat.com. This is free, so don't worry, you're not buying anything. You know, it's one of those things you can buy, higher lessons and stuff. We don't need to do it for here. Yes, Riley. Got a question? Or you're just raising your hand and telling me you got Code Combat. Raise your hand once you've got Code Combat. You've logged in. You've created an account. Okay? Again, I'm going to be jumping back and forth to see how this YouTube video is going. Okay. Let me see over. I can probably do it here just as well. All right, we've got most everybody's gotten there. Okay, now let's talk about this and kind of get you set to go. All right, now you're going to go ahead. You're going to choose your hero down at the bottom. Make sure you choose your hero, but make sure your language it defaults to Python. We're not going to do Python today. We're going to do JavaScript. So make sure JavaScript. All right. That's what we're trying to get with JavaScript. It will help us with with what we've done before in Google Sites. It can help us with the Unity game engine, etc. Let me go ahead and see if this is not working. It says it's upload status unprocessed. Okay, hopefully this will be all set. All right, I'm saving changes for that. Let me go back for everybody else on what we're doing. Okay. There we go. All right, so make sure you've got it there. Then make sure when you start it, you equip your hero by double-clicking on it. And we got a question here. Let me see what the question is. I'm not sure why Firefox isn't running it. Try running Chrome on it, Karen. And then do a quick search on CodedCombat. You might have to update Flash. All right. You're going to see a lot of what are called methods in this. Okay? Oh, it seems to be working for Safari. Let's run Safari. I was having problems with Safari before with me. Okay? So let's go ahead and run. Let me go ahead there. Wait for him to get on Safari. Hang on a second here. While he gets that, let's just hang on there. Okay, hopefully he's got it. All right, so we've got to methods. Here is self.move down. This is a method. Self is, guess who? The character. Move down, move left, move right, move up. You can click on help if you need help. Use the help button. It'll also tell you. And there's some tips to doing it. So when we go to play it, I hit play. All right, I'm going to go to play King Dungeon, that one. Now I'm up to there on this character. If I go to here, I click on the first one, King Dungeon, I hit play. I would outfit my guy. There's not much, wait for everything to load up. With the webinar, my stuff's going really slow. You're going to get the shoes where I click on them. I'm going to hit play. It'll load
Code
up.
Combat.
Start the level.
Lurberka.
And you write the code, which I've done before, and that's why it's already said I've won. But you got self, there's your comments, a pound sign right there. There's my help. And then there's different, I've gone farther up here, I learned how to make loops. So if you would, let's work on the very next 3 lessons on this. Charlotte people that have class tomorrow, raise your hand if you have your 3D print ready to go. Alright, well that's what we're going to try to do, is get some 3D prints there, Charlotte people. Let's get it done for those people that are coming to Charlotte location. Alright, everybody else, let's work on that. Let me go ahead and do the first 3. Just start working on it there, okay? I'm going to mute myself for just a little bit while I get this next group set. Pause. Alright. Hopefully you've gotten through the first few lessons, but let me get your attention again, folks. Well, let me ask it this way, better question. How many people got through the first 3 levels? Raise your hand if you got through the first 3 levels. All right, very good. Well, let's talk about the next few levels. This is going to be, again, have everybody work on this. If you've got a lab tomorrow night and you want to be working on your Tinkercad, and your 3D print, that'd be great too. All right, here we go. So you have functions, our names, reusable sequence of code. By now, if you programmed before, you know that. But if you've not, that's what it is. It's a piece of code. It's like with Scratch, if you think about it, if on edge bounds is a function. It's basically saying touching an edge, point in direction of sprite 1, you get plus 180 degrees. So instead of writing that all the way out, we have that little function if on edge bounds. And was the object moved down? Well, object attached, that's the object period, and there's my method, and then note the parentheses on that. So the object self is, which refers to you, the player. You know, it's a variable that stores information about your player, like their location and everything else. It's like one can imagine a collection on that. So here we go. Variable name, age, assignment operator 3, value 3, name is Dubé. Alright, just as another variable, meaning that. Again, for some of you I know that's reviewing you've done 1,000 times. Alright. Make sure you're doing not Python, that you are doing JavaScript. I'm sorry, I've got to update this real quick. Alright. Then you got to move up. You must be able to move up twice. And then you move right, move down, then move up, move right, and level 2. So right, up, right, down, right, up, right, move down, right. Okay. You know, in the first level, why wouldn't that, you know, that's level 4. Okay, let's go ahead, go through the next, and put everybody's hands down. Let's work through the next levels all the way till you get to loops, guys. All right? Alright, we're just waiting as you go through it. I'm going to go ahead and pause this a little bit. I do want to mention something here. When you get into level 5, alright, true names, let me point something out to you just so you don't. Sometimes, like, find self nearest enemy is an example. They won't necessarily let you use that code. This is kind of like Code Academy where they're looking for specific things right now. So do follow by their name. I would like also to point out that, like in other languages, you have floating numbers, Boolean strings, variables in languages can be different things. Again, this is for people. If you've been taking programming in this class with me for a while, you would know this, but I've got folks that have not. And so understand that. You could have, here's an integer, it's 4. Floating points are 4.0. Booleans true. Strings are 4. So those are all examples, kinds of variables we have. And here, notice that when you self-attack quotation brack, you have to use quotation. That means literal, you're dealing with the string brack or treg. If it was a variable, you wouldn't use the quotations. If you get stuck in level 6, make sure you put on the shield. And then we get into looping, 11.7. Alright? I'll let you raise your hands once you're ready to start level 7. You get to loop 7, we start using loops. Again, you want to start to use all the tools to make programming easier and quicker. A loop's an important part of that tool. And you learned that in the fall when we were doing Arduinos, and now we're using them again. This is why Mr. Dubik doesn't get all that wound up about which language people use. Fundamentally, it's taking a complex problem and breaking it down into small pieces, and that's what we're doing here. So here we have a loop, self, move right, move down, left. It's repeating all of that for us, and it'll do it over and over again. All right? Now, and then there's an if-then loop down there, which we'll get into. So, again, we repeat when we do Scratch. It's doing those lessons over and over again. In this case, it would say repeat 6 times. So, in here, you're going to have to move right, move up, no, move right, right, up, up, then move right, right, up, all the way through it. All right? So that's going to be one level of it. Oops, sorry. And then down here, you're going to go ahead and find the same kind of pattern again, where you're going to loop things. Let me ask you right now, what do you all think of the game so far? Or people, raise your hand if you enjoy it. Okay, I got 2/3 of you saying you like it, and I'm curious at the end here if you figured out if you'll feel like you've learned a little more coding. I think for some of you, you've done it before, but I think for newbies, this might be a way to go. We're going to be doing Unity Game Engine down the road, and that'll be a lot more elaborate than this, trust me. All right, and then there's 8. Again, take your programming language. Whenever this person, break it down, right, up, right, down, right, up, right across, down, same thing. You want to break the problem down into pieces. You know, and then you can also do loop attack. So we have loop self dot attack door, and it'll just beat up the door. So, all right, so you're gonna get to attack enemies here and stuff with loops. So let's go through 10 here. All right, and raise your hands once you get to that point. All right, let me know if you've gotten through the first 10. Okay, I got a couple more folks doing it. Let's we'll wait. Well, dimensions, I think you meant for the checker, or what you can print on your 3D printers is, if it's a checker, keep it under 50 millimeters by 50 millimeters. Try to keep it there. It can be a little bit over, but try to keep in that range. And 10 millimeters high. If you're, if it's round, I should say. If it's elongated, we can make it like, 70 or 80 by 40. The overall size of the thing, it cannot be, you want to keep it by 80 by 80, say 80 by 80 by 10, or 80 by 40 by 20, those kinds of dimensions, Karen. Alright, now we're getting through on this part of the code. Now, by now you should be getting it that, like JavaScript, it's always these links. You've got a loop here. Like, frankly, like Python, you do 4 spaces over to get it to self-move right, self-move up, move right, move down. It'll just keep repeating that over and over again. Self-attack door is actually useful. You use that to destroy the door. I hope you all did that. You found it. Now, what makes it a little bit strange also too is, why is CRAT in quotation marks but enemy 1 is not? Because you've made CRAT a string, you made enemy 1 a variable, it holds a string, those are letters. Now, as far as the computer goes, enemy 1 is what is CRAT. When we look at, we're saying literally we want KRTT heat. When we do self-attack, we're saying enemy 1. The computer doesn't care what enemy 1 is. The last thing you signed, it was CRAT, but it could be Kurt, it could be Ursa. If you do quotations, you're literally. Alright? So that's, I hope you see that. So whenever you use strings, plan on doing rotations. Now, and again, we've done this. Variable name, Dubik, that's the value, and there's the assignment operator, equals. It's not equal like a math equals. That's usually equal anytime. And for folks new to this year, variables are useful because you can in one location define all your variables. Then it's easy to change them. And then throughout the whole program, you're not having to go throughout the whole program to change everything. You just change the value of the variable. Now, there's a new method here, and I tried using this method earlier in the game and it wouldn't let me do it. And that's what you got to remember when you play this game. It will do things like this, like this function, find nearest enemy, I saw in the help section. I tried to use it earlier, would not let me use it. But once you have those glasses, then you can. And so what that does is it just says, find the nearest enemy, take that value and store it in enemy. Down here, the next line of code says self-attack the enemy and do it a second time. Alright? And that was 11. And there it is. And basically I did this. So this finds the nearest enemy and then attacks it. Next one down. Find the nearest enemy. After that one's dead, give it to enemy 2, attack that. Then the next enemy. So it keeps doing this over and over again. Honestly, you could keep saying enemy 1 and put this in a loop. Alright? Alright? But, change variable, we can always do it. Alright, so these start to get a little more challenging now, so let's start doing 11 through 15 now, folks. Alright? Alright, folks, I'm not sure you got all the way through 15. By the time you get to level 15, it allows you to start making things, which is pretty clever, fences and whatnot. Let me ask you this. Being high school, folks, we could go right into JavaScripting. How many people found this useful? Would find this useful if they never programmed before? Alright. Okay. Well, that's good to know. I just need to know if I'm going to be using this. I think it's useful for just getting you through the drudgery of getting through some things with coding once to getting it, as opposed to just always typing what I have. So I think this with Code Academy would be kind of a powerful way to go ahead and really start playing with it. and then we'll actually use a web page and write some code and let you see on that. This is all I've got for tonight. If you want, go ahead, try to get through level 15 would be great. If you're coming to the Charlotte lab, I really need the checker, whatever you want to build 3D on your 3D printer, put it on Edmodo. We were going to do, like I say, I wanted to do a Google survey, but that's going to end up involving parents, and probably just going to be quicker if you guys put it on Edmodo and I track it there. But just please put your name, the location, and like you're in this group be high school, so that way I know whose is whose, because there's a lot to do there. Now when we go to the lab, we can pull it off of Tinkercad there, but you know, even with 5 3D printers running, I would like to start to get some of them printed before that. All right? Okay, folks. Take care. I'll see you in lab. If you're in Charlotte, Tuesday, Harrisburg, Thursday. If you're in Charlotte, you have to park in the main entrance to Charlotte Latin. I'm imagining the gate is going to be locked because school is over right now for spring break. Okay? All right, everybody take care. Bye-bye.